Hey folks, welcome back to Still Respawning. This is Devlog 2, and today I'm diving deep into Unity's physics, lighting, and a few chaotic experiments. If you missed the last one, we had cat murals, fireworks, and some serious prefab dragging. Now, we're stepping up with some bouncy balls, some that may bounce, some that may not, snap the grid stacking, and a suspiciously unstable ramp. So, without further ado, let's go. So the first part of the level, or the tutorial guides, was to basically set up a kid's room, they said. So you had an environment to, make the ball bounce and do the other tasks associated with it. So here I am, setting up the room, pulling out a bed, dresser, bedside table from the prefabs that they had built into this. I even pull out a little rug. Probably doesn't go with the color of the room, but hey, that's what we had. I even got a little rocking horse, which to me looks like it's a bit big for the size of the room. But again, that's why I'm a dev, not an interior designer. And then we start with a classic, the bouncy ball. So this is where I just pulled up a 3D shape of a sphere and just changing the materials to make it look like a bouncy ball that I remember from my youth. And then it's meant to drop, I'm meant to bounce. So this is the first attempt of it dropping and bouncing, except that it doesn't actually bounce. So it sort of just gave up on life. It turns out that Unity doesn't assume your objects want to obey physics. You've got to tell them. So I added a rigid body and adjusted the mass, tweaked the bounciness, only to realize the clouder was missing. So then I fixed that, and finally, boom, the bouncing was achieved. And here you can see me setting up the ramp. So this is where I had to set the ramp up to make it bounce across into what was going to be a tower later on. But of course, as you see in the ball, just kind of phased straight through it. Why? Again, no collider. So after making it convex and adding the right mesh collider, Unit finally stopped ignoring my geometry, watching the ball roll properly. Genuinely satisfying. Small win, big moment. And now, let's talk towers. So using prefabs, I stopped blocks into a Unity version of Jenga, and you can see me here just setting them up, just making them try and look a little bit tidy, just as a first attempt. But then you see, as I press play here, the ball actually just kind of bounces into the tower and does nothing. Later on I found out that's because the mass of the ball was too light. By adjusting the mass, you can see it knocks the towers down with ease. And now we move on to the lighting, the tint and the skyboxes. And this is where we change the ambience. So I changed the skybox, adjust the environmental lighting, and discovered the play mode tint toggle. So I went to red for drama. And I also figured out the control plus shift plus F lets me lock the camera view in place. That is actually life changing. So I can see what I need to do. And I zoomed out, reset the frame, and instantly felt more pro than I actually am. So this is then where we go into the easy, medium, and hard tasks within Unity. The easy task, which you just seen, was basically vertex snapping. This allows you to pick an edge of the prefab or the item, or the object, sorry, and snap it to any other edge of another item. This allowed me to perfectly line up the boxes, make sure the tower looked as good as it could. And then the medium phase was adjusting the tower to have some more complex shapes. So I chose a little arch here, so I thought it'd make it look prettier, and it was something simple. So I only just done the one arch to make it look a bit more dramatic than it needed to be. The medium mode, or the medium level for this section of the training, it wasn't difficult, it was more fiddly, just where you had to adjust the sizes of the arch to make sure it fits perfectly on top of the other towers or other blocks. If I'm honest with you, I cut a lot of this out because I got so frustrated that I nearly rage quit over this. And then we go into the hard section of the training. This is where I had to frame a piece of artwork using the quad. This was surprisingly satisfying. So basically I had to set up the quad, choose an image to put onto it, and put it up onto the wall like a piece of art. It caught me off guard, if I'm honest with you. It took me a few attempts, and you'll see that I actually put it on the wrong way, so the image was facing the wall, I deleted it several times, came back to it, but eventually I used the camera, turned around and found why the issue is there. Before starting my game dev journey, I never realized I actually had to be an interior designer as well. This is where Unity taught me I need to be that as well as everything else. Took longer than I wanted to admit, but look at it in the end. Beautiful framed art. Crushed it, sort of. And then we went into the quiz. So after every training session is a quiz. This one, I have to admit, the first one I failed and only got 3 out of 5 right. But then after that, I got full 5 out of 5 guys. And that wraps up Devlog 2. I learned a ton this session. Most of it physics is both powerful and petty. But if you're enjoying watching the chaos unfold as I teach myself Unity, give the video a like, drop a comment, or just laugh along with my fails. Next up, Unity Audio, which means we might get some sound, music, and maybe even some spooky vibes. Still here, still learning, still respawning. See you in Devlog 3.